Hello, this is Margot of Covered by Margot, and today I wanted to walk you through the entire process from top to bottom of creating an ebook cover. As you can see, I have it open in Google Draw at the default view. I haven't made any changes whatsoever yet. So first I'm going to start up here and just going to name it ebook. Real simple. Okay. Now I'm going to resize this palette to fit one of the more common standard sizes for ebook covers. As you can see, I scroll down past this arrow. You can't see it, but it's the page setup. See? And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Scroll down to custom. And I'm going to resize it to 6x9, which is one of the more common standard sizes for an ebook cover. Apply that. And here we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go over to Unsplash, which I've already touted as one of the best free open source Creative Commons spaces online for finding a great variety of photographs. And not only a great variety, but a great diversity, which is super important. I am sad to say that even some of the paid sites where you go to buy stock images don't necessarily have the greatest diversity of Black people. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in Black people here on Unsplash. And as you can see, scroll down a little bit. As you can see, these are really high quality, gorgeous, human, naturalistic photographs of Black people, people of color, brown people, non-white people, and they're free. And I'm just going to say that I think one of the biggest differences here is that a lot of the photographers here are Black people as well. So I think that that's the reason why you have such a variety, such a glorious variety of photographs of Black people. So I'm going to go ahead and select a photograph. Let me scroll down some. There was one that I saw earlier that I'm hoping that I can pick up again. Let's see. Actually, I like this one. This one's new. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. It's kind of cheery. And this photograph, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the name since I'm going to use it. Give a nice shout out to the person who took the picture. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this because I feel like I'm going to butcher it. Let me scroll down and see if I can find it again because I accidentally clicked on his name. Okay, let me go back. And we're just going to take it easy here. Okay, now, as you can see, it has a little graphic here that says say thanks. Crediting is not required, but again, if you want to be a decent person, it's always wonderful to give credit to the people who allow these photographs to be available for free. This is pretty much the only commodity that they have is to gain publicity from giving their photos, lending their photos for usage like this. So it's always wonderful to just go ahead and go through the process of copying, and it's really easy to do. It has a little button here. And if you use people's graphics on this page, do that. Give them the credit so that they at least get the shout out and they can get business contacts. People see that photograph and see the credit and are able to contact a person for any future business dealings they want to have with them. Okay, so I went ahead and downloaded that photograph. Let me close out. Go back. Yeah. Okay, so I have the photograph downloaded, and what I'm going to do is, you see, I might be able to insert it into the background. Now I'm going to do the color. Okay, now I'm going to just insert it manually. upload from my computer. And there she is. And she almost fits perfectly, but you know what? I don't want this photograph to be centered perfectly. I think that it adds artistic interest if it's a little bit off center, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press shift at the same time that I resize this photograph so that it maintains, it doesn't stretch or warp in any kind of way. And then what I'm going to do is position it in a way that I think it's kind of interesting, but off center. Maybe think ahead and think about where I might want to put my text space, have a general idea of where I might want to put the text on this photograph here. And you know what? I think that it actually looks more interesting, and it's kind of on trend if I don't include her entire face. I've noticed that on books. Oftentimes the face will be cut off at a certain point, usually above the lips or at the nose. So that way the viewer has more of a breath to be able to fill in the blanks with whatever they picture from the words that they read from the story. So I'm going to do that with her. Kind of similar to the other video that I have on this YouTube channel. So I'm making her just big enough so that it's just her smile and the lights, the string of lights that you see that adds the most interest for this image. Okay, and also keep it off center as well. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and crop it. What I did was I right-clicked it so that this menu would pop up, and I scroll down to crop image. And as you can see, this black outline appears around the photograph. So I'm just going to grab the edges. Let's see. Okay, I accidentally grabbed the image. So I'm just going to undo that. It's real simple, easy to do. It happens to everybody. All right, try to grab that bar. It's kind of hard because the bar is right over the blue line. So you have to be mindful and a little careful there. But I will tell you that it is very helpful that it's transparent so you can see exactly where you're cutting and line it up perfectly with the actual edge of the workable space here. So as you can see, I'm just going to keep pulling it until I find the edge of the workable space right there, and then just pull it back until it meets the line right there. Okay, now I'm going to go scroll up, and I'm going to do the same thing from the top. And I don't know if you noticed, but one thing I did to kind of save a little time was I kind of got a general idea of where the cutoff would be above her mouth, as well as lining up one edge of the photograph so that it's already aligned to the edge of the workable space. So, again, it saves a little bit of time. Now all I have to do is crop the bottom, and I'm good to go. Okay, it bounced down a little bit too far. All right, I'm trying to get it to that red line. All right, I'm going to move her up just a little bit, just a tad. That's another thing that you can do, which I find very helpful, is that you can move the photograph within the crop. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this down a little. Pull it till it meets that bottom perimeter. See that red line, that guideline, that helps. And then I just press enter and the crop is done. Great, now it's cropped. But as you can see, the photograph is a little bit too big for my screen. I want to be able to see the entire book cover so that I am able to really get a clear impression of what the finished product is going to look like with text and everything. So what I'm going to do is go over to view, and I'm going to go to zoom, and it says fit 67%. That might be where we're at now. So I'm going to go to 50. And now you get a clear idea of just how the book cover is going to be positioned and everything. And as you can see, it is exactly, what I was going for. You can just see the mouth, and you can see the string of lights and that little interest there with the graphics. Now, as for text positioning, I'm not going to worry about that right now. What I'm going to worry about is just making up a title. Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, go to Word Art, because that is one of my favorite things. You can use text box as well, but I prefer Word Art because you can also do highlighting and other effects. There's more effects that you can apply with Word Art. Okay, so I'm going to come up with a title. Let me try, I'll just say Light of My Life, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in light here, okay? Because I kind of want to do something different with the, I'm coming up with an idea as I'm speaking right now that I kind of want the title to cascade and move in a kind of similar way as the string of lights are curving. So what I'm going to do is, instead of putting the entire title on one line here, I'm going to duplicate light and then add the rest of the title words in. Okay, so all I have to do is copy it, right? And I've done that. So I just, Light of My Life, that's 3 words, 4 words. So I'm just going to duplicate it a few times here. Okay, that's 2. And really, you know what? I'm going to make this go even faster by getting the proper coloring and font that I want to use, so that I don't have to change every single one every single time. I'm going to cut down a little bit of time here. After all, I am making this live video. Now I'm looking to find a font that is kind of what I would call romantic. I feel like this book cover could be a modern romance, or a book that's directed at a coming of age story with a romance in it, So in those types of books, what you usually go for are sort of not necessarily sort of a handwriting font. Those usually go really nicely with those types of books. So I think what I'm going to do is use Great Vibes. That's one of the fonts I tend to like. And you can see it doesn't really look right when you have all the letters capped. So I'm going to edit the text, right? Light. See? And I already told you I do not like outline. So I'm going to get rid of that outline, make that transparent. And I'm going to find a color that really bounces really well off this background. I was thinking of a warm color, but I think that would be too matchy-matchy. I want it to be a little bit interesting. So let me see. I'm going to try this super bright orange first and see how that works. And you know what? It works. It's legible. And it bounces just enough so that, you can see it. Remember that you're always thinking about how it's going to look in a thumbnail. Like if it's legible in a thumbnail, and you get a very clear picture of what type of book it is. Now, if you're looking at this font here and you're looking at this photograph here, you get a very good idea. This is probably going to be playful, modern romance, which is what I'm going for. So now that I've got the font and I've got the color that I want, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it now. Now I'm going to go with copy. All right. And I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to paste it one more time. And that bottom one, I'm just going to edit that text. It's going to be life. you hear some movement in the back, that's my dog. You'll have to excuse her. She's a sweetheart, but she makes noise. Okay, that's going to be my, yeah. I was trying to decide if I wanted to make it all with a capital letter and if that looks good or not. I may edit it at the end, but we'll see. For now, I'm just going to make them all capital like that. Okay, so we have this this title together, and I want it to be just below her chin, so you can see her smile, see her face very clearly. And I kind of want the impression again that this is sort of cascading a little bit with the string of lights here, right? So light of my, and I'm going to avoid this orange for now because you know why? I think I'm going to put the author's name there, right? Light of. See how I'm experimenting with placement? And those grids that keep popping, they just help you get a clear idea of whether or not the text is aligned in a way that's visually interesting and makes sense to the eye. Like it doesn't seem off in any kind of way. Doesn't necessarily mean it's matching or anything. It just means that when you're trying to read it, it's not going to be hard to read. And you know what? I'm now that I've placed the text, I think that's too much orange. So I'm going to go with the easiest and the one that I know is always going to look good. I don't usually go completely white. I'm going to go with light gray because that, to me, it adds a little bit of romance. That may not make sense, but to me, it seems a little more romantic, a little softer than a hard white. Okay. Okay, so I did manage to dip it a little bit into this little halo at the bottom, and that's fine because remember I used the, well, you know what? I have an idea. Of what I want to do here. I think I'm going to make light big, okay? I'm going to make light a bit bigger, and I'm going to make of my a bit smaller. All right. Because those are the most important words that I want to really stand out is light and life. Okay. And again, I'm going to align it so that it's legible, but kind of visually interesting too, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. That's still, let me get it closer up under her chin. I think it can kind of move into her face a little bit as long as it doesn't hinder the smile too much. Okay. Right there. Okay. And then bring life up. All right. There you go. All right. I think I'm gonna move that over a little. Okay. All right. So again, it looks romantic. You get a very clear idea of what kind of book this is, but you know what? The text is getting a little bit lost. So the trick I use for that is I go to Format Options and I go to Drop Shadow. Add a little drop shadow, and you can see that the text it makes it pop just a little bit, just enough. See? And, it's a little more clear now. Now I'm going to add my author's name. I think I'm going to call the author Chandra Harris, okay? Light of My Life, Chandra Harris. So what I'm going to do is insert another word art box. Chandra Harris. I just think authors' names look better when they're all in caps. They pop off the page. They look important. So there, Chandra Harris, I'm going to place right beneath Light of My Life. I'm going to get rid of that outline. Yeah. And I'm going to go to my favorite font, which is Oswald. It's my favorite font. It just looks very professional. It looks so good. And I'm going to find Oswald. There you are. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to actually make Chandra Harris's name not off-white, but white. And you see what I did here? I messed up. I did not press shift, so her name is stretched out, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to press undo. I'm going to remember to press shift this time so that it all resizes in a way that doesn't screw up the sizing too much. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and color this. I'm going to go with either black or white. Let's see. I'm going to go with white. And I'm going to give that a little bit of a, let me see if that looks good, better up here. I think, like I said, I don't want it to cover her face. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I think what I want to do with this particular image is make it big enough so that this ginormous halo isn't so much of a distraction. I think that the most interesting part is right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the image. Okay. And I'm going to make this even bigger. Okay. The text is going to stay right where it is. And all I'm going to do is resize this. I'm going to make this image, this workable space big enough so that I know exactly how big I want it to be. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay. And I'm going to make this image huge. All right. I press the shift key so that the image resizes without distorting. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and crop it again. All right. All right. There's the edge. Now I'm just going to move this thing around, this cropping area, until it matches where I want it to be. Not the whole image, just the crop. If I can. If not, I'm going to move the image around first and then move the crop. Okay, I'm going to make this even bigger. All right. Okay. And move her face up a little. Because again, the most interesting part to me is the smile and the lights. I don't want that halo. So that's why I want to make it big enough so that the halo is no longer in the picture. All right. I did not mean to do that. It's going to undo it. Yeah, I really don't want that halo in there. I think it's okay if I get like the edge of it, but I really do not like that halo. Okay. That's as big as I'm going to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and move her over a little. And I can see that the halo's not going to be in there. Thank God. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and, all right. You saw that red mark pop in. That helps. That's my little guideline. Come on. computer is slow, but you can still get an idea of what I'm doing here. All right. Now I'm just going to press enter, and that's it. Now, you see what I mean? That looks a lot better. You know, I just messed around a little bit with the imaging. And you know what? I'm looking and I think that the bottom is a little bit below the workable space. So I'm going to move that up even further. I just missed it. Come on. All right. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and view this in the default normal setting so you can get a clear idea of what it'll look like. And as you can see, it looks good. I think I'm going to make Chandra Harris a little smaller. Didn't mean to do that. Let me just undo. All right. All right. Let's make Chandra Harris a little, click off, and make that smaller. And recenter her. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to play around with where I want this name to be situated. I think it'll do better closer to the bottom because I want to make room for a blurb or a tagline. So now what I'm going to do, because I like the positioning of Light of My Life, but I want it to be a little further down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off first. And I'm going to press shift and I'm going to highlight all of the text. Let's see if I can do that. Let me get out of here. I don't know if I can. Nope. Okay, that's fine. I'll do it little bit by bit. Okay. All right, and as you can see, the grid lines help. They pop up. They help me align it nicely. I don't want text quite touching. All right, that's fine. Okay, so we have the title, and I think I'm going to put a blurb right here in this little open space here. And I'm going to use the text box for that. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to color it white because I want it to pop. And I'm going to use the most used font ever, and that's Times New Roman, because oddly enough, it looks quite good with blurbs. But again, if it doesn't, that's fine too. I'll just change it. We're just doing a little relaxed designing here. And I passed it, didn't I? Here it is. All right. Now, what can the blurb be? Let me see. I'll just say flirty fun. Okay. Okay. Flirty fun. Fresh love. Flirty fun. How about that? Fresh love. Flirty fun. Okay. Now, there are different ways that you can have this situated in this area. You can either have it left aligned, or you can stretch it out like a newspaper, or you can have it right spaced or center justified. Doesn't really matter. But I think I kind of like it aligned to the left because it kind of gives the impression of aligning with her neck. Okay. What I do want to do is make this a little bit bigger so that once again, you can see it in the thumbnail. I don't know why I just went to the fonts, but whatever. We'll go to 30. All right, that's a little bit too big. We'll go to 24. And I'm just going to make the box bigger so that, there you go. So it all appears in one line, right? Now, bring it up just above that light string there, right? Now, I'm going to italicize it because it looks a little more urgent. And I may bold it. Like I said, I'm experimenting, so we'll see how it looks. Okay. I mean, it looks okay. It looks all right. All right. It's bouncing a little weirdly off her hair though. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of these ellipses. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and move this over a little and add another exclamation point. There. And we're done. We have a book cover. Light of My Life by Chandra Harris. We have a little blurb up here, and I'm going to show you the different zoomed views so you can see that it looks good, big or little. You get the idea of what kind of book it is. And I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, this was from scratch. So, I mean, if I were actually doing a design, I would take a lot more time with this. But I just wanted to show you that if you want to make a book cover that's really nice, cleanly designed, simple and tasteful, that you can do this. You just dive right in and you can do it. You don't need the fancy equipment. You don't need the Photoshop. You don't need any of that stuff. You just need to have a decent taste level and the ability to self-edit. Those are the two biggest things, I think. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.